Oh, well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. My name's Lindsay Duff, and otherwise known as Motivated Trader. Some call me a motivated mama. I'm coming to you today pretty raw. I can see myself, and I have no makeup on today. I just didn't feel like doing it. But I did bathe, so be thankful for that, guys. Um, when I look at the market, I really think about the market like real life. There's going to be ups, there's going to be downs, obviously. There's virtually no standing still. And when it is standing still, it's kind of frustrating because it leaves you wondering what's really happening, what you should be thinking. You can change your mind quite often when it's standing still. I see the market get happy. I see the market get sad. I see the market when it's frustrated or it's out of tune. The market is confused. The market is confusing. So there's just so many things and emotions that are wrapped up in the market. When the market is on point and in tune, the market really, really soars. That's when I see the market as being happy, even when it's going down, to be honest with you. That's when it's a little bit easier for it to read, and that's when I usually trade with the markets. Mostly is when the market is happy. So I see the market kind of like a story, or the market is like one person that has a ton of different emotions going on, which is like any person, right? So it's really made up of a community of people who have different emotions and thoughts and problems and issues and are bringing other issues into the market and pushing it in one direction, or thinking that they're going to move the market, and just like someone thinking that, punching a wall, that the wall's going to move, but the wall doesn't go anywhere, and you crush your fist. And the same thing happens to a lot of people in the market. I think my style of trading is different than anyone else's, but I think your style of trading would be different than anyone else's, and your neighbor's style of trading is different than anyone else's. It's really something that you create a fingerprint. You can create a fingerprint in the market. So, we all see something different. We all take a little bit different opportunities. And if we didn't, then the market would just go in one straight line from up to down or down to up. And it would give no other opportunities to get in and to make choices. And, someone may be seeing short while another person is seeing long, and neither may be wrong. One just needs to hold off just a little bit longer for their short while the long is still in play. Or one person may be able to get in and get out while another person needs to hold for the longer term. So it really just is about what makes you comfortable and how you feel as a trader. And, I am not some market guru. I am not some huge hotshot day trader. I'm a single mom with 2 kids. My parents and I live together. We take care of one another. My daughter right now is sick, so she has been sitting at the breakfast table with me all morning, and I kicked her out so I could do this video because I already feel weird enough doing this, and so she does feel a lot better though. So yay for that. My other child tried to play sick this morning, which she does very often. So a lot of days there's a lot of distractions. I have 2 dogs. We have packages showing up at the door. I just had a man trying to get me to switch to their bug, to their exterminating service, but we've already got one we use. We've got, yesterday I had the windows changed out, so we had no windows on any of our. There was no glass in any of our house. It was just open air. Furniture showed up. A bird flew in the house the other day. I mean, there's all kinds of things that go on that distract my attention. That means I may miss a trade. If things are really, really distracting, like they have been since about Thursday for me last week, I'm not trading. Well, Friday I couldn't trade. Monday, Tuesday, today's Wednesday, I'm not trading today either. It's just there's so much going on. Now, does that mean I haven't looked at the market? No, I'm a little obsessed. So I have looked at it, but I haven't taken anything because I haven't given it my attention. Um, so really, I'm just a chick that had some amazing opportunities handed to her, um, to be able to learn to day trade. I know people who've put in so many, 15, 20, $30,000 into trading, and they're still having questions. I was lucky where I was brought onto a company to learn to teach. And so it became my specialty. I'd always loved teaching, and it really became my specialty. So um, when I started to learn to teach, I still couldn't trade it. It took quite a while before I felt very comfortable to be able to sit and trade it. I have worked with what people consider to be some of the top gurus, but let me just tell you, I've sat side by side with those gurus and never seen them take a trade. And I've seen them just siphon more and more money out of students because none of these students were becoming live and they weren't becoming profitable. So they were saying, oh, well, you just need one more step. My goal here, and I've been, running into some of my other traders. I mean, I've got another trader that I've worked with in the past that has free classes that he's doing, or he's showing himself trading live every day. I record myself. I think live is a little bit of a, it's just very stressful. And he said it's changed his trading a little bit. Live on camera, live in front of somebody is pretty stressful. So he said that, that's actually been showing up for him just a little bit. But, I did a lot of work for these places, and I was very unfamiliar when I started learning. I never saw a chart a day in my life when I got hired on to start learning to teach how to trade. And but I knew that I wanted to be involved with it. I knew that this was something that I wanted to be in, and I was very intrigued by it. And I had to go through a lot of heartache and through a lot of anguish. And I had to realize that I had the wool over my eyes just as much as the students did, because I knew nothing about the world of trading and the different people that were really just selling indicator packages and things like that. If someone tries to sell you an indicator package, turn and run, because you can find all of these indicators online for free, and most of them are just junk. There's very few indicators that really need to be used, and the more that I've taken off of my charts, the more that I've taken out of profits in trading, because there's always something in the way to hold you up. I mean, it's when you have so much noise and background, you can't really hear the things that you need to hear going through it. So, if the music's too loud and someone's trying to have a conversation with you that is a life-altering conversation, you won't hear it through that music. If there's too many people chattering, if there's too much going on here, if your mind has too much saying, I need to be looking at this, 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 and this, instead of making it into one big flow, then you can find that it becomes a bit of a struggle. So really having this flow of the market where you're watching it, and there are multiple entries, but there's also many signs that tell you when you're just a little too early or when you're right on target. And that doesn't mean that me even understanding that every time takes that entry or every time takes that exit when it shows me, because I'm human and I let the I want it to do something more element step in instead of what it's telling me. So what we have to do is we have to take out that what I want it to do, and we have to read what it's telling you in order to become a profitable trader. And so, there's learning about areas and learning whether these areas should be hold or break. If you're going to go punch a wall, let's make sure it's a paper mache wall so that you go right through it instead of being a brick wall that you come up right against. And you can read that type of things going through the indicators. So, my style of trading is really to flow with the market. It's whenever you try and stand out in the market is when you are going to get run over. This is not the big short. This is not waiting for the housing market to collapse and waiting for that big short. This is reading patterns. What I do, if you want to trade the way that we're trading E-mini futures, then you're going to be reading patterns and you're going to be understanding how those patterns work. And it really kind of helps you, you have to look at your own patterns in your life and say, what patterns have I been doing that don't work? Because you have to learn to let go of those type of things too before you can really open yourself up to becoming a profitable day trader. I meditate. I read books of self-help. I'm reading Think and Grow Rich right now. I've read plenty of other books that are really, well, I listen to them mostly because it helps me in the car, wherever I may be. There are so many things out there available to help you center your mind and your thoughts. Nothing's going to do it until you're ready. Being unafraid to step out there and be willing to take the chance of, could this go right, is definitely something that has to be a part of this. You know, I had people suggest that I check out these, I've had plenty of people suggest that I check out their indicators, their, you know, different gurus that they've followed, different methods, and I've checked out almost 100% of them. You know, some got a little of my time, while others got all of my time. Some I thought I might be the way, but after deeper evaluation of it, I realized that it's not my path. But I was grateful for learning that it was a path that most definitely works for someone else. Just because that path doesn't work for me doesn't mean that that path doesn't absolutely lead somebody down the right way and into being profitable. Learning to trade has taught me to look for opportunity when I've taken the time to evaluate the situation. It's taught me that jumping in with both feet can be a curse and a blessing. You know, jumping in with both feet is absolutely fine if you know that there is, you know, that you're not cliff diving into a shallow water. So you better have a medical team there and be prepared to pay for the consequences, which in the case of trading is total emotional turmoil and losing everything in your account. So it's total financial and emotional turmoil. And I've seen so many just go down the spiral because they weren't able to ever flow with the market. Hey, you guys are missing pieces of the puzzle. And here they are. Instead of, hey, you guys are missing pieces of the puzzle. Maybe if you give me a little bit more money, I might consider telling them to you. Or I'll just keep you hanging, you know, keep the bait out in front of you so you keep shelling out more money. And before you know it, you don't have money to put into your trading account. Learning to trade can be done for a very low cost. It can be done with the right people. You have to see that they're actually doing these things. If people aren't showing you that they're actually trading, then you know they can show you a P&L all day, but if you can't see them put that order in and get out, then who knows who's actually clicking that button for them? Who knows what they're actually doing in the way of where they got in and got out? You know, it's a slippery slope, a tangled web, and I've been on the back ends of those type of things for almost 11 years, and I've seen it, and I just got sick of it, and I said, okay, you know what, now it's time for me to figure out my own style of trading, to figure out what I wanted to do in the way of how I was going to make this work, how I was going to continue helping people, and really whenever I help coach other people, it reminds me that I don't need them to trade like me. I want them to trade like themselves. So we find their strengths and we build on those. And we find a few things that are holding them back and we say, okay, here's a few things that you need to adjust. Here's the things that you need to work harder on. You know, go back and look at your trades. Your last 100 times you took a trade that was almost the exact same trade every time you took it and it didn't work out. Maybe worked out 10, 15, 20% of the time. It's because you saw that trade once, you thought it was beautiful, you took it, and it was really just a lucky entry. So But that's about it. I just wanted to go through about, the reason I trade the way I do. It's because I believe that there needs to be a flow of the market, really, to be able to say, okay, here's the market flow. I'm going with the market instead of fighting it every single time. And so that's going to wrap it up for today, guys. Hope you all have an excellent Wednesday. I'm going to enjoy my coffee and see what I can do till the next kiddo gets home. Have a great day.